Hey APUSH preparers, hope you're having a great day, and let's get right into the video. Our prompt was to rank in order the top 3 causes of the Civil War. Ranked from least to greatest, the causes of the Civil War were economic conflict, social conflict, and sectional politics. First, economic conflict caused the war because of the split between the North and the South due to differences in industrial and agricultural needs. While the South was sticking to their ways of agriculture, the North progressed into developing industry. A specific event that was a factor in the Civil War was the Panic of 1857, an importing of gold from California that inflated currency that hit northern grain growers the hardest. In addition to that, the tariff of 1857 racked up prices from European imports, making many people feel uneasy. The South, on the other hand, enjoyed King Cotton, meaning they were met with favorable cotton prices abroad, perpetuating cotton farming. All the cotton created a need for workers to pick the cotton, making slavery jump as an industry. This created tension between the North and the South, as the North were full of abolitionists. Meanwhile, the Free Soil movement led to the Homestead Act of 1860, which was an act to promote expansion and more land for the northern grain farmers who were hit hard. However, President Buchanan vetoed the act, siding with the South. This created even more tension between the North and the South. Social conflict was also a huge cause of the war because it caused turmoil between those who had different opinions, especially on the matter of slavery. Literature had a big influence on people's beliefs about slavery. For example, the book Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe was a book that highlighted the brutality of slavery. This exposed the true nature of slavery to America's eyes, as well as to people abroad, making people realize that it wasn't such a good thing. More people were exposed to the facts, and more books came out, such as The Impending Crisis of the South by Hinton R. Helper. The North came together and said slavery was wrong, while the South tried to hold on to their system. While there were people sharing their opinions through literature, there were also extremists who took it to a physical level, sparking even more flames between the North and the South. There was a group called the Nebraskals, Northerners who tried to abolitionize Kansas and Nebraska. On the other side, John Brown, an abolitionist, believed that the only way to overthrow slavery was to use arms. He and his followers killed 5 pro-slavery men at Pottawatomie Creek. Later, he tried to seize the federal arsenal at Harper's Ferry. The South believed Brown was a murderer, while the North were furious that he was convicted and executed for murder and treason. All of this news and violence created more of a rift between the North and the South. Finally, the greatest cause of the Civil War was sectional politics, which caused the war because of differences in governmental policy. A big part was Kansas, which was a territory that was subject to huge conflict between pro- and anti-slavery supporters. The Kansas-Nebraska Act allowed territories to decide whether to have slavery in their territory or not. This led to many people fighting over what should happen as it overturned the previous Missouri Compromise. After that, there was the 1855 election for first territorial legislature in Kansas, which led to the Lecompton Constitution. It said that people were not allowed to vote for or against the Constitution as a whole, but for a constitution either with slavery or with no slavery. Not long after, there was the Dred Scott case, which said that a slave is still a slave regardless on whether they lived on free territory or not. Furthermore, it established that since slaves are less than human, they do not have the human right to sue. Political parties were getting messy, so many new parties were also created. One such party was the Know Nothing Party, which believed in nativism and anti-foreignism. They believed that only the true white Americans should be in charge of political positions, which made other people feel uncomfortable. The issue over whether Kansas and Nebraska should be free or slave states made its way onto the Congress floor in the form of Bleeding Kansas. Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas, an abolitionist versus a pro-slavery man, had debates on the topic of slavery, trying to reach a consensus. This really showed how the North and South were absolutely split, and how people started viewing themselves on one of the sides instead of a whole nation. In conclusion, the 3 causes of the Civil War were economical conflict between the North and the South in regards to industry versus agriculture, social conflict between pro- and anti-slavery supporters, and the sectional politics of territory legislation. Good luck on the AP exam, everyone.